Man, because then the Richard Ramirez, right?
Right, and Ed Kemper.
Ed Kemper and the Boston Slayer, which I don't even know much about.
BTK Killer is one of them.
Son of Sam.
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy killed a lot of people.
But there's a lot of the fucking Jack the, always said the Jack the Ripper. I'm repeating yourself.
Right. Well, Jack the Ripper is like very like big part of it. What's up? History for Fools. Butch Escobar here.
Felipe Esparza eating chips. Wearing my private investigator Sherlock Holmes outfit. We're back, bro.
We're back, bro.
Good to see you, bro. Good to
see you, man.
Good to see you, man. History for Fools, what?
Yeah, we had a few good dates together already, man. Some shows we did.
Where were we?
We did Albuquerque and we did San Jacinto.
San Jacinto,
and
man.
You sold out both of them, bro. You sold out 2 big-ass casino theaters, so it was pretty awesome.
We had an amazing time, man.
We like a lot. You know what I liked about that trip was that we got to spend a lot of time on the road. Driving. I love being in cars versus being in planes, even though planes are quicker. Cars are so much more relaxing. We got our own devices. We could pull over. Even though it's so much quicker, but I loved that we got to drive everywhere this time.
That's Butch's next podcast, man. He's going to put a camera in his car, called it the Hell Gig Podcast. Old school style, man, making sandwiches.
Hell gigs are driving back in the day, but this was a little different because we had a nice, I think we had, it wasn't an Escalade. It was a dope Suburban that we had, so.
You ever been on the road with somebody that never bought food, just ate sandwiches?
Yeah.
Me, nah.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Boiled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs was my thing.
You like taking hard-boiled eggs?
Yeah, I always buy 2 or 3 of them and keep them in, and then when I get hungry, just eat those with some salt.
Guess what, bro? They make vegan hard-boiled eggs now.
Do they really?
And I forgot what real eggs taste like, I guess. But what they do is they replace the smell and the taste with black salt. I think it's called black salt.
Because it's like a sulfuric smell.
Oh my God, bro! Like fart smell.
Yeah.
So I put a little. So I got the vegan little egg, bro,
yeah.
and I put the black salt on it to get the sulfur smell.
Right.
Pepper, a little Valentina, and now eat it like an oyster.
Really good. That's really good.
I shit you not. It was so delicious. I even cut it all up, bro. It made me an egg salad sandwich.
Ooh. That sounds very nice.
Yes, man. I was eating it, but I ate it real good, bro. Not like Jeffrey Dahmer, who never put spices on his food. I mean, he was eating people raw, bro. Like, I'll eat a dick, but man, put some salt and pepper in it, eh? That's how you knew Jeffrey Dahmer was white, bro. He
didn't fry anything either.
Was eating people without seasoning and shit.
Yeah, he was just boiling
that
these
that house smelled horrible, eh?
I would have fried those.
That house smelled like shit, bro. You know, bro, to keep meat from decaying and smelling bad, you gotta add salt to it, eh?
Did you watch the entire season of that show?
Bro, I got to the point when he was a little boy, then I said, this is too much.
It was the second episode, probably the same. It was what really fucked with me though, because I could smell the room through the TV.
Oh yeah,
and I couldn't deal with, dude. I don't know if anybody's ever smelled death before. It's the worst fucking smell in the world.
There was a man who died across the street from when I had my baby mama in the housing projects. His name was Mr. Hyde, and he had a bunch of kids. He had a bunch of white kids. It was Johnny Hyde and Brandy Hyde. All these kids, but he was a good man, you know. He was one of those. He was a white man living in the housing projects, ex-veteran, real nice man. All his kids were blonde. All his kids joined gangs. One of them joined Bloods. One of them joined Primera Flats, and then Brandy. They all live in the Midwest now, Oklahoma probably. And
it's crazy that they became gang members.
He had a hard. Again, when his family moved out, he didn't want to go. He wanted to stay in L.A. But this guy was very influential in the housing projects. Like if you needed a job, you could go talk to Mr. Hyde. He would walk around and go. He would tell you hey, Mr. Hyde, can you help me get a job? And Mr. Hyde will help you, bro. Because he's white, bro. He look a very influential Irish man. You know, he will go to into Sears. Hi, my name is Mr. Hyde, and I'm looking for a job for a very good friend of mine. And they'll bring you in. You know, then now you got a white guy bringing a Latino in to this job, and you will get hired, bro. So you're very nice like that. And he'll organize field trips, you know, he'll try to get funds from the city. He'll go to the city, bro, and go like this. Listen, man, you need to allocate at least $300 because I need to take these kids from the housing projects on field trips because everything is being filtered to all these neighborhoods. You know, they get to go to Magic Mountain. They get to go to camping. They get to go see the snow. They get to go this. I just want a little $300 to get a couple of vans to take my kids to Venice Beach, you know, come back to take them, you know, whatever, right?
Right.
He was that guy.
Okay.
He was that guy.
I love that dude. My mom was that, but she ran a youth center. It
Well,
ended up being a youth
his was
center.
his was
just
out of
a
the
nice
pad,
guy. He was
out of
just
the
a nice
pad,
guy.
bro, out of the pad.
That's dope.
He always wore a suit, real nice man. And anyway, his family left. Plus, he was supposedly like. You find out later on, you know. Okay, Mr. Hyde is not a serial killer, by the way. But
Yeah, we're not working up to that yet.
but when people were saying good things about him, when he passed on Facebook, they relive you someone who's dead, good memories. People start writing good stuff about you.
Yeah.
So there's a Pico Aliso Village page for the housing projects and people who lived there from 1953, 1944, 1965, 78, 2000. Before they knocked them down, they leave comments, you know. So supposedly when one of the kids was a real young age, the daddies would tie that fool up, bro, to the bed and chain him up, bro, so he won't leave.
Wow.
But then again, when I thought about that, bro, that happened to me too.
Your parents did that?
Yeah, because I was a wanderer, bro. I used to roam around, bro. Like, I used to follow my dad to work, bro. Like my dad would say bye, and I'm saying bye, but I'm also like taking steps forward and following him to work. Then he turned his back, and I'm chasing him. And then
I was like a little kid.
But one day, bro, I lost him, and I couldn't find my way back home. So they started tying me up, bro, like right next to the chickens.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's an effect on a kid.
It does, totally.
Yeah, so I found out that he was tying the kid up like that and beating them all the time when they were little.
Right.
So now I know, okay, that's why they're in gangs. Maybe that's why he had a change of heart and decided to help people also.
That does it. Yeah.
You know, so I always know him as a helpful man. I didn't know him as a mean dad. I mean, I saw him argue with his sons, Johnny, you know, out there looking for them when they were all drugged out by himself, looking for them. Have you seen my son, Johnny?
Right.
And no, but I need a job. And anyway, he had a heart attack.
Oh.
And he was there for 3 days rotting, bro. Stunk up the whole housing project.
Oh my God.
Bro, they had to call the meat people because he died and there was like the blood was soaking through the bed and all that.
Oh yeah, all his stuff. Yeah. My
maggots, bro, flies everywhere.
Yeah. My sister's
it smelled like farts with death.
My sister's ex-husband is a police officer. He's a good dude. One of the first calls he went on, was a guy. They reported that the guy hadn't come out of his apartment for a while, and he was sitting on a a fake leather couch when he died with his hand in a bucket of chicken. Huge fat guy. When they went to pull him off the couch, his skin had ripped open, and the insides had completely liquefied, and all of it just flushed out onto the floor everywhere. And so, if you can imagine that awful, awful stench. Trying to get the clock.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna change my shirt real quick because this is making me hot.
All right.
We're back. I had to switch his shirt out real quick. It's we're getting into the springtime now, and so the sun's beating on the studio a little bit more. And I had one of those pro club shirts they borrowed from my son. Yeah, and it was so hot, dude. Way hot. What are you doing over there? You got hunger, man.
No, that's some popcorn. We're good though.
Things got wild when I went to go change my
shirt. Just cracked my ankle. Okay. You know how it is, bro. I just cracked my ankle. Yeah, but Mr. Hyde, he was rotting, dude. he was rotting really bad. Like
For like 3 days, you said.
you can smell it, dude. Like people were like, huh. They just started wondering where's that smell coming from? Because they know there's so many factories in my house, my neighborhood.
Houses and things.
Because there's El Pato sauce is right next door.
Okay.
So you smell like burning pepper all the time, and you smell like there's a pickle factory.
Right.
So you can smell the fumes from the vinegar, I guess. Plus, man, people burn trash. I don't know why in the neighborhood. And so he was rotting, bro. But we're talking about serial killers, man. And so you went through that whole book, Son of Caine?
Yeah, so I read Sons of Caine. I finished it actually last night. I wanted to try to get, because when you recommended it to me, that was like at the beginning of last month. And I knew if I had read it, I started to actually read it, and I was like, this is a really good book. I'll go through it pretty quickly. So I decided to read it just a couple weeks before we started, and then ended around now. And I ended it last night. It's amazing, dude. This is one of the, like, sometimes I'll read books for this podcast, and I'm not having the best time reading the books. I'm just trying to collect the information. This book was a fucking really good read. And in fact, it gave me such a different view of humanity altogether. Like
Peter Vronsky, right?
It blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Peter Vronsky?
Yeah, Peter Vronsky. It like really changed how I think about human behavior and how we actually connect or disconnect. And, you know, because one of his theories is right at the very start of the book is that all human beings are serial murderers.
All of them. They have the killer instinct.
That it's actually not about it's not about making someone a serial killer. It was more about unmaking a serial killer, is what he had said. And what he was saying is he was comparing us to the earlier man that we was Homo sapien, and at the time we had Neanderthals were the other type of human beings on the planet. And we completely violently wiped them off the face of the planet. Like, there's only a few people in the world.
And there was a lot of inbreeding, too, between them.
Yeah, and there's only 13% of people who have Neanderthal blood in them, and it's very rare.
So Homo sapiens and Neanderthal, their breeding made us.
Right, and the killing. The fucking sheer just killing of other...
Who was more... one of them only had wood weapons, huh?
That was Neanderthals. Well, we both at
that was not the Stone Age yet.
We both at the beginning. This is after the Stone Age. So
are you serious? I thought the Stone Age was first. Stone Age was first, right?
Stone Age was first, but what? But
what was first, Philip? Stone Age or wood stage?
So then the Stone Age. So that because they were
Stone Age.
Because they were making weapons out of the stones at this point, and so were we. But the difference is that we were refining our weapons. They kept the weapons the same because all they were using was to kill animals and make farms.
Tools.
Right. And they used them to fight with because they were trying to defend themselves. But we were actually making, and this is evident in the book, but this is also evident in history books, we were making tools to kill. And when I'm reading this, I'm actually like, oh, that's why we're so fucking fascinated with weapons. That's why we love guns. That's why we're such a warring culture, because like if you go back to our early stages of what we were killers. And so that's what he's saying is that because now we have like things like the coffee maker and the toilet and a home and air conditioning and heating and good parents, the more creature comforts we have, the less creature we become. And so basically what he's saying is like, you know, and I kind of agree, outside of people who are mentally dysfunctional, serial murders come from how they were brought up. And so I think that's what he was. It was really because the book is the history of serial murders from the Stone Age to now, or something like that.
Yeah, man. Usually, like what I learned was that the development age of a human being, you know, when you're starting to learn and process stuff, the ages of 3, 4, and 5 are like the critical moments, you know, in a human's life, that whenever it gets disrupted, you know, whether it is from someone assaulting you, or you're watching something so fucking graphic that you can never let it go ever again, or being abused, or being beat up, or, you know, get hit in the head a lot, you know, are the most important. That could really make a person change behavior for the rest of his life.
That was the other thing, is that
and his thinking, man. Because not to bring up somebody who's make believe, but that's the same age where they were beating the shit out of the Joker at 3, 4, 5.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I mean, there's the whole program called First Five, and it's just to give you information.
I only know the last 5.
So there's a program for I don't know. I see it in the hood all the time. It's called First Five, and it's just to let you know that the first 5 years of your child's upbringing is the most crucial.
Yeah, the 3, 4, 5, right? When
Yeah.
you start learning.
Yeah, and because that's when you're really all of a sudden everything turns on. When you're a baby, you're kind of like, I don't know what's happening. You don't really have a thought process because you're brand new to the world. But as you start to be able to collect images and have thoughts and gain a little bit of independence by walking around, that's where you start to soak in the very beginning. So if it's fucking violent and you're getting fucking fucked with, or you're getting beat up, or you're getting molested, it's gonna set the tone for the rest of your life unless you get like serious therapy. So have you ever like when kids go through trauma at young age, they have to go through therapy?
Yeah, because when I read that Richard Ramirez book,
Yeah.
his he was like different from his family member. He was the youngest one, first of all, and he was closer to his sisters because there was not that many brothers, and he was closer to his uncle, who was a Vietnam vet, and his uncle exposed him to real graphic Polaroids that he took from Vietnam. Like he was showing pictures of a whole family, like they're all tied up by a tree, and his uncle will graphically say, I had sex with all these ladies and everybody in his photo, and then like killed them, man.
Oh wow!
And then he'll show all the photos to him, even the murderer ones.
Right.
And then that uncle was crazy, bro. He was a decorated Vietnam vet. He ended up killing his wife, or they say it was by accident, but I guess Richard Ramirez saw it happen, I guess. And
Right.
So there's that, compiling in his head, and he also said he didn't see shit, but when they took the uncle to court, there was this law back in the days, where they just let him go because he's a veteran and
Sure.
he's a hero with a
War hero
crime
or
of
whatever,
passion,
right, yeah.
crime of passion,
Yeah. Actually,
So
that's legal in state of Wyoming
So he's from Texas, so he got away with
and
it.
Texas. Okay.
So yeah, and then when his uncle got hooked on heroin, he got him hooked on heroin too, and then he helped. He taught him how to shoot a gun, the best way to kill somebody, how to break into a house.
Oh wow! So
He's like 3, 4.
He's teaching him how to be
He's
a
a
bad
child,
person.
bro, learning all this shit.
Holy fuck! So that's the thing, man.
And seeing graphic photos and introduced him to probably his first hooker, I guess.
And that's the thing is, like, we read that common thread throughout it. Like, I mean, the book constantly references true crime magazines, like
True Detective,
True Detective, and there's a couple others.
Philip, look up a detective photo and put it up there.
I have a bunch of pictures that I'm going to send to Philip right now, and if you could put these up. These are the images almost on every. When we were reading the book,
how voluptuous are these women in these photos?
well, it's not about how much voluptuous they are.
But they're all showing big boobs and they're all tied up.
Some of them were, some of them weren't. But the common thread, because I thought maybe this guy was exaggerating about how often there was scenes of torture at the cop front of the magazine. I just looked it up, didn't do anything else, and you hit images and it shows blocks of all the pictures. There was maybe 1 or 2, Felipe, and even still had a woman in it that wasn't being tortured, maybe just being kidnapped. But most of them were cords wrapped around their neck,
cords,
knives, fucking their boobs barely dropping out, and then this guy like grabbing them,
and
a hand on the throat.
All the titles for the story were all misogynistic. Like, she's talked too much.
Right. She's not. She's talked too much. She's not going to talk again.
And they said she wanted to drive.
Right. Yeah. She wanted to be by herself tonight.
She wanted to vote.
She decided to.
For real, these men are crazy. Oh, also, what I learned about the book of Sons of Caine was that a lot of they don't talk about it, but a lot of the World War II veterans, when they did a lot, they saw. And they were part or witnessed a lot of violent crimes in France.
Right. So what?
And those people were doing so much violent crimes. You know, when you're doing like gung ho killing people. I never been in a situation like that, but I know but I know the adrenaline of winning money and losing money in a casino.
Right.
Where you just stop thinking about it and you don't give a fuck no more, then you're broke.
Right.
But they said that a lot of these soldiers who were witnessed it, who witnessed or participated in this, they were affected, bro, and they became like crazy killers too in America.
No. I think what he was saying is that they created crazy killers.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
they came back home as crazy killers.
They came back home as crazy killers, and they didn't know how to have affection for their kids. They didn't know how to treat their children. They didn't know. They just came back. Like the way he explained it was perfect too, man. Because he was like,
"You got your soup." Okay.
He's like, he was like, you got to imagine this isn't the Vietnam War. This isn't Korea. These aren't proxy wars where we're going to take down a
He said they were raping a bunch of women in France.
Well, hold on. This is where he started out, though, which actually blew my mind because I didn't think about this. Was that he said, this is the only war that we fought in our near future where we were simply just trying to kill people. This wasn't about removing a government. This wasn't about anything else except dwindling down the numbers of our enemy.
Killing out.
So even though it was like a very righteous war, it was a killing war, a bloody war.
Oh, the numbers war, huh?
And so these guys that witnessed things, it was a total, as many Germans as you could kill till either they give up or disappear off the face of the planet.
I bet you there was stuff being done over there that was so gruesome, besides the violent sexual crimes that they committed on French women and like whatever they did over there. But I bet you like there was stuff crazy shit like.
Well, do you remember the Japanese guy with the teeth that he was trying to pull the teeth out of his head?
Yeah, man. But there was like crazy shit like because I know what it's like to fight an enemy, or try to beat up an enemy. But imagine, man, like if they have phones back then, they have phones during World War II. We were watching photos of Nazis with American soldiers, peanuts in their mouth.
Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure, bro. These guys murdered people and then peed on them, but then they
shit on them. They peed on them. That was the thing. Is there's this one story about this soldier in World War II who's trying to pick the teeth out of a living enemy with a K-bar knife. And each time he slips, he stabs into the guy's head, and the guy starts to move around. And then one of the other soldiers is like, just fucking kill this guy. And he goes, fuck that, I want to keep him alive. There's that story, but there's all these, and they witness all this stuff. And then they come home, and there's no like, PTSD treatment or care for these guys. It's like, go back to work, do your fucking job, show love to your kids. And it's like that. So he kind of that
was the beginning, huh? Showing how those guys later on read a lot of serial killers.
That's because he refers to serial killers, first of all, in this book, have been around since the caveman days, like he said. But we're talking specifically about what they called, and I didn't never hear this term before, and it blows my mind.
There was no name for serial killers back then.
The golden age of serial killing.
Was the 80s or 70s?
The 50s to the 2000s. Or the 90s. I think it was the 90s. And what he's saying is that between World War II veterans and Vietnam veterans and the extreme violence overseas and the extreme peace at home fucked some of these kids up because of the way the parents came home. Because these dads came home, they were fucking literal murderers.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and my dad...
I've seen things.
So this is the thing is my dad is a Vietnam vet. But I think he had a very healthy disposition because he didn't go in at 18. He went in at 23. So when he went off to fight, he was a little more mature, so his mind was in the right place. Most of these guys that went off, especially in World War II, started out, some of them in World War II started out 15, 16 years old, lying on their draft card. And same within Vietnam, like we're 17-year-olds, were like lying on their draft card to get in. And
World War II, right?
Yeah, World War II for sure, bro. You had 15-year-olds in World War II.
They joined, huh?
They just joined. And again, it was like a righteous fight, but it wasn't without death. It wasn't without dismemberment. It wasn't without rape. I mean, dude, I wrote these statistics down.
Wrote down, bro. Statistics, people. Focus on me, not that book. Look over
I'm
here. I'll
here.
stab one of you
Not
guys.
here. It's something about, oh man, I should have marked it. But it's about the time. So, like, up until like 1996, rape was outlawed in war, according to the So,
Up to when?
dude, 96.
So rape was okay during war.
Every soldier in America and so according to the Geneva Convention, which is what we fight wars over in this country, which is weird that we have a rule book for wars, but we do. Rape was completely legal during wartime. Like if you were a soldier, you went overseas, you raped a bunch of chicks, you came back, the country heard about it. Oh well, nothing we could do.
So you could go home, be a pastor. Nobody says nothing.
According to the United Nations, so that was just the Geneva Convention that outlawed it. But United Nations decided not to do anything about it until 2008.
Are they crazy?
So, like, rape was completely legal during wartime. And so, what do you think is going on with these guys out there? You know, what do you think's happening? You're killing constantly, and this isn't like even wars now, where it's totally like where they're watching you. Oh, did you read that one part where they said, you know, when you come back from another country and they're like, do you have any meat, any food to declare? World War II soldiers were coming back and they were like, do you have any body parts to declare? Because guys were bringing home Japanese ears, Japanese skulls. The World War II prized possession was a skull, and according to this book. Ears and dicks were in like Vietnam. So I mean, like, dude, that's the thing is these are very.
So the Viet Cong collected dicks, huh?
Yeah, they would chop our dicks off and put them in our mouth and leave us for our like other troops to be found.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heinous. War's heinous. What do you expect? Fucking death is everywhere. But that was what this book did for me, was it made me realize, like, it's actually just, it's not even part of our culture. It's part of our being. This violence that we watch is part of our being.
That's crazy you say that because they did talk about it a little bit on this, but not too much. They said that after whenever Rome was at peace, the people still had the fighting urge, bro, to know about violence.
Right.
So that's when they started having those gladiator fights, bro.
Yes, that's exactly.
Because there was nothing else to keep the crowd from rebellion, from fighting each other.
Right.
So just come watch this, and then like it became a spectacle, bro, to have a guy get eaten by a lion or fight a lion.
We are obsessed with it. Even
and
now,
then,
bro. We still
to
watch
put on the parts
movies.
about how all those torturing and killing of people with a part of serial killing back then.
Yeah, and you're talking about like the 16th, 18th, and 19th, 18th,
torture machines.
17th, 18th, and 19th century. The European stuff, like the German and the French guy that would like cut people and then that shit was crazy.
Like the guy, the Impaler, bro. He was like a serial killer.
Vlad the Impaler was who Dracula originally was. He was absolutely a serial killer.
Imagine, bro, getting killed like that with that stake through your colon.
And you're alive. Like he would set you on it, and it's not like
weight.
You wouldn't go on it right away. You would slowly sink down on it, and it would slowly pierce your body, like throughout the day. Like it took. Some people were like on. I read that some people in another book that some people were on the spit. It was called a spit for up to fucking like 2 days before they like.
That's painful, huh?
Bro, can you imagine a fucking sharp thing coming out of your shoulder, sticking outside of your chin?
Hey, you're passing by there with your kids. Don't look, mija. Close your eyes.
Fuck, bro. That's the thing. Things were so much bloodier back then.
I read that the treadmill was a torturing device at first.
It is, yeah. That's actually.
They will line up at least 5 dudes, and just have them walk on that treadmill all day. And let they get stopped, they'll land on a spike. A spike
comes out or it's something. That's nuts, dude.
And I would use it to work out, eh?
Have you seen the ones I read a book a long time ago, so I know.
You did?
It's a pot that sits on top of your stomach, right? And then they put rats right here, and they put the pot over your stomach
with the rats inside.
The rats are inside,
and they cover it up.
And they cover it with a pot, and then on top of the pot they put hot embers. So the rats start
trying to get out.
They need to get out, and where do you think they're gonna go?
Your belly button.
Through your fucking belly button.
And they do make it through?
Fuck yeah, they eat their way through you, and you slowly die from being disemboweled by tiny little rats.
But the rat dies too.
I don't know if they die, but probably not.
Let them find a way out, huh?
They'll fucking eat right through the side of your stomach and come out.
There's some evil little motherfuckers,
They
huh?
are, dude. Rats are nasty to begin
What
with.
country did that?
That was Europe. It was like probably like.
Was that for
medieval times Europe.
enemies or people that owe 2 cents?
It was throughout all of Europe that they would do that.
For torturing, for crimes, huh?
Crimes. A lot of times it was crimes, but I mean that's the thing, man. Is like you had one guy telling you.
That's. I don't want to die like that. I would, just hang me, bro. Guillotine me, bro. But like, wow, dog.
What about by stretching? Did you read the stretching
I
part?
saw that one on Face It to Death.
That one's nasty.
Like I owed
bro.
$60 to somebody.
And they stretched him to death.
Yeah. I remember watching it as a little kid.
Lisa just laughed.
I remember watching that shit as a kid going, the guy owed whatever money it was
Right.
in Russian language. And then he goes, the equivalent of $60. $60 and shit. I would have mailed him that money, bro. Keep him alive.
He didn't know what he was
Bro,
getting into.
they put him in 2 horses.
Right.
And they stretched him and they broke him in half.
Yeah.
Like paper, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know it was that easy.
Well, they also had a machine back in the day where it would have handcuffs on each limb, and then you lay on a rack. You lay on a rack, and then a wheel turns, and slowly it would pull you apart until your joints come out of your body, out of your knees, out of your ankles, and then your skin your muscles first, and then your skin. Did you read about the wheel in the book? Do you remember reading about the wheel?
Talk about the wheel.
So the wheel rack was what the last
priest?
like before like European countries started to become more civilized and outlaw death or have like quick deaths like the guillotine.
Yeah.
The last thing was so they put you on a wheel. The most basic thing was to put you on this huge wagon wheel, break all your limbs, and then let you hang from the wheel like till you died. Or one other thing they would do is take the wheel, and I had to look this up because he didn't really go into detail. You take the wheel, and then you tie you to the bottom of the wheel with your belly out, and then the wheel spins, and there's a fire underneath. So every time the wheel spins, you got to go through, and it's slow, too. It's not fast. It turns with the water. Like, every time, fire. It's awful, dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
Talking about it is torture. But have you heard about the Iron Maiden?
That's the thing with the spikes, right?
Yeah, it's like the mummy. It's like a thing where
Yeah.
King Tut, they put King Tut, but not King Tut. And they place you in and they close it and it's all the spikes go in you. That kills you, right?
Like, it's got to kill you right away, though, I think. Unless they have some type of device to slowly push them in.
No, then they close, they shut it, bro, and they just leave you standing there, bro.
So what he defined a serial murder was, because that was the thing, is that we
You kill more than 2 or 3 in the same city?
First of all, we didn't know what the definition of a serial murder was up until like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. There was all kinds of names for it. You want to know the names?
Yes, please.
Pattern murder, compulsive killers,
I heard that word, pattern murder.
multiple murders, stranger on stranger violence, which was my favorite,
Oh my
multi-side,
God.
mass murderer,
Let's go back to the one stranger by stranger. Say that one again.
stranger on stranger violence.
Just those 3 words makes me know that they didn't put no effort on finding that motherfucker. He might have well just killed 5 women from the inner city, man.
Yeah, that one's my favorite too, because it just sounds like very like nobody gives a fuck.
It's like those cops, they ignored that, bro. They wanted to catch people for stealing back then.
Right. Yeah. They didn't give a fuck. Multi-side, mass murder, which we've heard. Recreational killing, which is my fucking... recreational killing's like that to me is like, there's recreational boating, there's recreational motorcycles.
Recreational weed.
There's recreational weed.
Who's going to legalize recreational murdering, bro?
Yeah. Thrill kill, compulsive murder.
I heard of thrill kill, but that usually happens when somebody kills somebody like at a fair.
Right.
But now they have that with mass shooter. No, thrill kill is a sexual act, right, Philip? Yeah.
Lust murder and spree killing. Those were all the names that they had for serial murders, and they were all different classifications. So they couldn't put them in. So they don't know exactly where it came from, but FBI did coin the term serial killer, and it was 3 or more people at different times, and they lowered it, I don't know when, down to 2 people at different times. So if I kill everybody like at once, that's a spree killing or a mass murderer. But like if I kill someone today, then go out and kill someone tomorrow, now I'm a serial killer. So that's the definition, but serial killing's been happening for like a really, really long time.
A real long time, huh? Serial killers?
Yeah.
But there was still serial killers during the civil era, before the revolution.
Yes, totally. Well, I mean, there's that one kid, the first, like, our like kind of first recorded and youngest serial murder was a kid named Jesse something, and he only killed 2 people, but he did a lot of torturing of like little kids. So like,
There's a movie about a serial killer movie that came out in the 70s with Al Pacino. I don't know. I think Scorsese directed it, but I'm not sure if I'll look it up. I don't know if I'm wrong. It's called Cruising.
ooh,
Cruising, and it's like it's during like the disco era, and there's a serial killer going around killing only gay men, and it shows how the police are very lack in trying to find the killer because he's killing. First of all, they don't even notice because every time they find somebody dead, he's a homosexual. He's wearing a dress, or they catch him in one of those shady bars back then that they had in Manhattan, where a lot of men used to frequent. Because being gay back then was pretty much frowned upon back then, man. I remember they opened up the first gay bar in Glendale, California. Motherfuckers lost their fucking mind, bro.
oh
They're
really?
protesting, bro.
In
Protesting.
L.A. Wow.
It was like Leonard Velasquez said, "Hey, mijo, who's gonna go there, eh?
Who would go there?
Who will go there, eh?
Gay people.
Gay
bro.
people, man. They have
Gay-
that money, you
Hella
motherfucker."
gay people, dog.
So, in that movie Cruising, the serial killer is killing gays, right? Gay people. So nobody looking for that, but then there's a protest by a bunch of the gay community to find this guy. So now they got to go look for him, right? So they're looking for a detective that could go undercover in the gay community, bro. So they get Al Pacino.
Right.
And the guy goes straight up, bro. Like, he's like a little ass fool. He goes, "Hey, why you chose me? 'Cause you look like a fag." That's why. You want to be Pacific?
Right.
You're a little cocksucker. Like that, right?
When was this made?
Cruising, bro, in 1970.
Oh,
And, bro,
wow.
there's a fisting scene in that movie, bro.
Fuck yeah, there is, dude.
There's a scene, bro, where there's a dude I don't want to stop. A dude who's 5. I don't want to reference a comedian that's not a homosexual, bro, but a dude that's 5'1", bro, 5'2", and there's a dude like you, bro, patched up in leather, bro. He looks like you,
Okay.
and a guy who looks like me too, with a little beard, and we're patched up with leather,
Right.
and you see the guy put his leather fist into something jelly, and you see that guy, they're holding him back,
Oh,
and
no.
he's like, yeah.
Oh.
And then they cut. You have to assume what happened after that.
Yeah, totally. I love the movies for that. Thank you.
But it shows like nobody cares, first of all.
right.
And right away they're pinning the murder on a heterosexual. It's a Nazi. It's somebody who doesn't like gays. But they're not saying gays to the whole movie, bro. They're not saying gays to the whole movie. They're saying the F word.
right.
And it's so like there's so much. Who's gonna care about who cares? A lot of who cares are thrown in.
Why? Yeah,
thrown
who
in that
cares?
movie, right?
These Fs are getting murdered.
But fucking Al Pacino's little dude. He has a little leather jacket, bro, and he has to go into all the gay bars looking for the dude.
He's on the
And he has to pretend to be gay, bro. It's a good fucking movie, bro.
Gonna
and-
watch that.
He ended up catching the killer, by the way.
Okay. Wow.
But the guy, bro, for
Spoiler alert.
a movie ahead of its time.
Very ahead of its time.
And it shows where America was at the time, as far as being gay or lesbian.
Do you remember
So
growing
it's a
up?
very historical movie, man.
It's
You want to
great,
know about?
Yeah.
And you think people are pissed off right now and Budweiser, Bud Light, transgender, and little kids that want to be. First of all, man, this is America, man. The place where you could come be whatever you want to be. People are dying to come to America just to be where they want to be. So, man, if one day you wake up and you want to be, if your name is Tom and you want to be Tammy tomorrow, hey, man, that's your prerogative. You know, I'm not gonna let you stop you. And if the next day you want to go back to Tom, Tim, Tom, or Tam, that's fine, man. Hey, man, it's your choice. You know, if you feel that way, if you feel you were born that way, you know, I believe it. It's your life. I got your back. Let me know, man. If you want me to go into a bathroom, I'll be outside protecting,
making sure no one fucks with you.
Nobody fuck with you, man. But nobody like. This movie shows the way they were treating gay people in the 70s, which is nothing has changed.
But you remember the 80s, and it was still because it was new to us. I remember being in the 80s, and then it was like because San Francisco was increasingly getting gay since like the 70s or 60s, whenever that started happening. But by the 80s, it was like a new thing to where we lived, and it was like. I remember how people would react about it and how fucked up it was. Because my parents were always like, hey, we don't give a fuck about that shit. But people around us were like losing. I remember these two kids came out. This is 93. 93. Two kids in our class came out of the closet. People were throwing fucking rocks at them.
Chico's Tacos, bro. El Paso, two guys were making out and a lady in the restaurant called the cops.
Really? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but we progress over time. But I do remember that it was very, very looked down upon. That's what's funny to me now is how everybody is like, you know, acting, and it's like, you know, and we progress over time, and there was a time where these people would just be slaughtered,
man. And that's one thing I learned about that book, man, was that when it came to killing homosexuals, killing prostitutes, killing and then another killing black women, not black women who are prostitutes, because prostitutes could be all women. All women who are prostitutes, they die, nobody cares. Also, black women being murdered, nobody cares. Immigrant women, Latina women being murdered, nobody really cares. You know, they were not really looking for these murders back then. You know, so there's a lot of stuff that we still don't know. They're not being accounting for, right?
Right.
But it's crazy, dude.
Well, and then what the book walked away saying was there's so many that we don't even know exist.
So nobody, especially in the in the 1600s, right. Fucking that dude. They say that the guy Jack the Ripper, that his cuts were precise, bro.
Like he was a doctor. That's the theory too. That he's a doctor. That he was a Freemason because the doctors were Freemasons back then.
In the movie I saw, they would always find like grapes next to the
Johnny Depp one, right?
Yeah,
that's a Johnny Depp one because grapes were
expensive, huh?
Yeah, they were only had by rich people.
Imagine, bro, like being the first person in America with an orange.
You're Mexican. Yeah. I guess I don't know how fruits are so different, but that was.
I'm just saying, the first person with an orange. You know, like it's expensive to have an orange in New York. Because everything's frozen.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
But you're in New York with an orange, bro. Yeah. You know how valuable that shit would be back then?
Right.
Because in California, they probably have orange all the time.
Yeah.
And in the old days, they didn't have a name for the orange.
Right.
Because history for Foos, the tangerine was named. They named the tangerine before they named the orange because there was no color. Because the color orange or the name for orange has not been invented yet.
Really?
So that's why tangerine is tangerine because it does come from the Tangiers.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of history on History for Fools. How about that?
A little history for fools. So there was no name for an orange because no one has called anything orange yet.
Right. Oh, so what did you call that color then in nature?
Just a citrus.
A citrus color, or it's just a citrus?
A citrus.
Whoa. Okay.
And the lemon, probably with a lemon already.
I wonder if that grape thing is true.
Aren't you glad I told you that?
But didn't her breath smell like something else too? It was like, or the women that were murdered, their breath smelled like absinthe. He was also saying that he was giving them absinthe, which was like, it makes you hallucinate. It's a liquor that makes you hallucinate. So I can't. Man, I wish I remember. Oh no, wait. Johnny Depp's character also drank absinthe. That was the thing. That was a really good movie. But the book did a really good job of disappointing you in what the actual Jack the Ripper story is.
Yeah, it's just all theory, huh?
Yeah, it's just like 4 murders,
Never caught, probably.
never caught, and there's so many different theories.
My theory is that Jack the Ripper was the out of work writer, like an artist who had the means, and once he started working, he stopped killing people, and I think it was William Shakespeare.
You think he might actually have been?
I made that up.
I don't think he existed at that time. I think it's like 100 years later.
Somebody told me that he wrote
It's like
the
200
Bible.
years after he existed. But they also say that
It was Jack Tripper, bro.
Did you hear the theory that Jack the Ripper was H.H. Holmes, who was like
Sherlock Holmes?
No. H.H. Holmes was like also a very mythical first, unjustly named the first serial murderer of America. Was a guy named H.H. Holmes, and he had this hotel that they supposedly had this hotel that he had built for the World's Fair, and it had all these secret chambers where he would kidnap people and murder them.
Yeah.
That guy was only responsible for actually one murder.
Hey, let me tell you, man. That's when I stopped watching American Horror Story.
Stupid.
Because they had a murder hotel episode.
Did they really?
They had a murder hotel. They had a murder hotel, bro.
Yeah.
And everything you said right now was on point of everything they said at American Horror Story.
Oh, really?
Yes, all true. That the guy had a torturing chamber at the hotel, all the beds, knives, and all the rooms. But
there was
at this hotel, guess who was living there too now?
Who?
Richard Ramirez was there, and a lot of the Boston Slayer was living there at the time. So they brought everybody, all the serial killers who are dead, to live there now. And then, as spirits to kill people.
And then they bring people in for them to kill. That's fucking stupid.
It's stupid, dude.
It's lazy, stupid.
Like you'll be sitting there, bro, and the axe murderer just show up and whack your ass.
That's fucking dumb.
What you know about the Boston Slayer? Nothing.
I don't know anything about the Boston Slayer.
I mean, with Irish.
It's weird. That's.
Cause he'll hit people and go top of the morning to you.
He had a mullet. And he'd be like, "Get back in the car."
I know about this right here. They made Nacho Libre about Jack Black playing a half Mexican, half Hungarian wrestler in Mexico. Nacho Libre.
Oh yeah. He was supposed to be half Hungarian.
If you look at the photo when they show his mom and dad, his dad looks like a Hungarian guy, and the mom looks like a little Mexican lady. So there's a woman in Mexico. What's the wrestler's name, Philip? Juana Barraza. Look her up if you have time. It's right here on the screen. That woman was a female serial killer in Mexico. And what she did was this, bro. When she was a little kid.
This is very recent.
When she was a little kid, bro, she was sold to a man for a 6-pack of beer.
That'll do it too.
Yeah, she was like a 14-year-old girl, bro. So her husband, she had to go with her husband, bro. So he raped her, and they had babies, bro. They had babies, and he was like a hustler. So she learned how to hustle from him.
You want me to read her early life?
No, I got it. I know. I remember it. I know that she was sold for $6, and all that. But the main thing was that she was a brute of a woman. She ended up being a big woman, and she started wrestling at night with a wrestling mask, and she had this hatred for old ladies because every old lady, every woman that like her mother sold her grandmother fucking treated her like shit. So this lady would get jobs taking care of old ladies and rob them and fucking murder them, and then at nighttime go wrestle.
Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
What was her childhood like? All bad, huh? Torture, huh?
So after her mom sold her for beers.
How old was she, bro? Not little, right?
A rural North Mexico. Braz's mother, just Simper, was an alcoholic who reportedly exchanged her for beers to a man who repeatedly raped her.
Yes.
In his care, by whom she became pregnant with her first son. She had 4 children in total.
All raped, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but one of them died in a mugging. And like this lady's had a fucked up life. She had a strong interest in lucha libre for a Mexican mask. It doesn't necessarily say how she was beaten. It does say how she killed though.
She was strangled him, huh?
Yeah, she would strangle them after getting their trust. So she would get people to like them, and then she would murder them.
Crazy, huh?
Oh my god, dude.
How many did she kill? Like 20, huh?
Let's see. Victim 16 plus. 16 for sure,
That
but
we
they
know
think
of.
it was they would think it was above or around 20. Um, that's that's the thing too. That's crazy is like Jack the Ripper kills a total of 4 people, and there's actually people that go to school just to learn about Jack the Ripper. They're called Ripperologists. And this lady kills fucking almost 20 people, and we don't even know about her.
Yeah, bro. The winners write this history.
I found a website called Serial Killers by Number. I think this will blow your mind. The most people a serial murder has ever killed. Do you want to know the number one person?
He from Brazil, huh?
Ecuador, Venezuela, Colombia.
Yo, yeah? Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Garvito?
And he's out of prison.
Garavito? Yeah.
He's out of prison, too, because they don't...
He's out of prison!
They don't have life. You could sentence somebody to 40, but you can't send them to life. And after they serve their whatever, they get to get out.
Do you know how many people he killed?
300?
300. And they were mostly children.
Yeah, when I dated a woman who's Colombian, and then she was telling me, bro, like back in 2000, 1999, 2000, about a serial killer in Colombia that was killing a bunch of people.
He did 22 years, and he gets out this year.
He killed 300 kids, right?
Child murder, torture killer, and rapist known as La Bestia.
La Bestia, the beast.
La Bestia. Garavito confessed to killing 140 boys himself between 6 and 16 years old from October of 92 to 99 in Colombia and neighboring countries. He is suspected of murdering over 300 victims, mostly street children. Garavito was originally sentenced to 1,853 years in prison, but this later was reduced to 22 years after he led the police to many of the bodies of his victims. He is scheduled to become eligible for parole in 2023. Dude, what the fuck, Colombia? This is like home of Pablo Escobar, like all this shit, dude. But they don't give a fuck about street kids there, I guess.
There's a serial killer similar to him, and he must have killed 20 or more. He was the serial killer during the Soviet days in Russia, during the Iron Curtain, during like the Red Scare, during the Cold War. So it was not really.
You talking about the werewolf?
Nicolito or something.
Nikol Popkov?
Nicolito from Russia. Serial killer from Russia, Nicolito.
Has to be that one. How many did you say he killed?
Like 20 or 30 kids and women, young women.
There's Anatoly Onoprenko. I'm just going through all the Russian ones on here. We don't even.
Anatoly Onoprenko, what year was he? During the Cold War. They caught him after the Cold War, bro. When Putin came in, or the Russian, they came in after Gorbachev, they started like sharing information, because when Nicolito or whatever his name is from Russia, when he was killing people, there was no FBI.
89 to 96.
What's his name?
Anatoly.
Anatoly what?
I'll read some of the Russian
names.
What's
his name?
Anatoly. Where the fuck did Anatoly Onoprenko. Known as the Beast of Ukraine, the Terminator, and Citizen O, Onoprenko was convicted of murders of 9 people in 89 and 43 people in 95 to 96. And he traveled throughout Europe illegally. Whether he killed during this time is unknown. He was sentenced to death and was later commuted to imprisonment for life. He died from heart failure in 2013.
They ain't that guy. The one I know, but he got shot in the back of the head, bro.
Okay, heart failure. Let me see this, because it tells how they each died. This guy said around 20, right?
Yeah.
So these are we're still in 30s numbers, bro. Like, dude, there's still like
just a year. He was in like during like when Gorbachev was in office. What's his name, Philip? Nicolito, look it up. There was a movie about him on HBO called Citizen Kane. Look it up. Citizen K.
He might not even register on here. I'm getting down to 23.
There's a
Mikhail Novosoyolov.
there's a guy. Wait a minute. There's a movie about him on HBO called Citizen. Huh? Andre Chikotole. That's the one I'm talking about. This guy was the reason they couldn't catch him because there was only one cop looking for him, and he finally realized that there was a trace of the same type of murderer, and Nicolita was he was a party worker, so he was part of the.
Oh, he was like a political guy.
He was a party worker, right? And he worked like a machinist. He's a party member, and he would go home to his wife and kids like nothing, bro. Like he would lure little kids to the forest, and like while he's strangling them, he's having sex with them, and he did it to a lot of young girls, older, young women, young men. And he just lured them to the forest. Like it's so creepy, man. Like in the movie, you can see him walk up to a young woman. He goes, "Are you alone? Are you hungry? You want to get something to eat?" And then they never show him killing nobody. They just show him walking to the forest and him coming back, bro. They could not catch this guy. This guy would plead to his to the officers, the KGB or whoever's in charge. I need to share this information to the FBI in America so they can help me. They could profile this guy that can help me profile this killer.
Oh yeah,
so I
that's
can know how
right.
to look at him. The FBI has a profile on serial killers now. We do not have this. And then that guy goes, Did you want to know let the West know that our country is not under control?
Yeah, they're very proud like
Do you
that.
want to let the West
That's how they
know
fucked up Chernobyl.
that we're killing our own people, right? So finally, bro, when that fool gets when whoever's in charge at the time is done, the new administration came in, was Putin or whatever who is now.
Right.
Back then, no more red curtain, bro. All that shit's gone. They fucking they caught that motherfucker, bro. This fool put out. He sent men and volunteers to all the train stations to look for a creepy old man.
Well,
and they caught that motherfucker.
Right. The book talked about an algorithm that the FBI had. I think this is what the guy's talking about.
Yeah, but Russia didn't have it though.
They didn't have it, but we'd
not
had
at
it
all.
for a long time.
He had nothing, bro.
And it's like an algorithm based off the approximation
Yeah.
and all these things. And it's really, he said it's like really accurate. Like the way that FBI catches serial murders is very accurate.
Also, the people in those little small towns where this guy was killing people were coming out and complaining, bro. Like showing pictures a lot, and the amount of missing people was astounding. You know, they were like, "Hey, I can't find my daughter, my little daughter." So
what was the guy's name again? Andre something.
Andre Chikotole. Anyways, Chikotilo. Hey, check this out, Philip and Butch. When that fool was on trial,
Yeah.
they had that fool instead of a fucking cage hanging in a courtroom, bro. Because so many people wanted to fuck him up, bro, and people wanted to kill him. So when he was sentenced to death. At the end of the movie, they show him take his glasses off, and the guy puts a fucking 357 Magnum to his head and shoots him.
Right there in the courthouse.
No, after the courthouse.
After the courthouse.
He was murdered, right? Citizen X is the name of the movie.
Oh yeah, look at this guy, dude. Holy shit.
He's a beast, bro. That guy, and he's not even known. He killed more people than Richard Ramirez.
52 convicted.
He killed more people. It was gruesome murders, bro.
Dude, 52 convicted for murders. 53 he was tried for, but they believe, and he claims that he was more than 56 people. Wow. The Butcher of Rostov, the Forest Strip Killer, the Red Ripper, the Rostov Ripper. Holy smokes, bro. He was in the army. He was married. He was a teacher.
Everything, bro.
Whoa.
He had a family.
Yeah, this guy's no joke. Wow. And then they ended up shooting him in the back.
Yeah, shoot him in the head.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was like the movie. The movie is shot with no soundtrack, so there's no funky music. There's no like make you feel good moments. There's no montage in the movie, brother. So you feel the guy's agony and stress trying to find this fucking murderer, bro. And it's gruesome, bro. It's like it's hard to watch. It's not graphic, but it makes you.
Do you remember the name of the movie?
Yeah, Citizen X.
Citizen X.
On
Okay.
HBO.
Definitely gonna watch that. Wow, this is great.
The actor is a very known actor.
Yeah, that was the thing is they talked about how they profiled people, how they ended up profiling people, and there's so many cases where guys like this would lead women off. Did you read the one where the guy would go up to women that were looking for work at the like employment office?
That sucks, dude.
This is like the 1600s. And he would go to the servant employment office. There's like this center where you sign up to be a servant, and then people come in and hire you. And what he would do is he would walk around this area until he found a woman that said, "Yeah, I'm actually looking for work." And then he'd be like, "I'm the painter or the handyman for this family. Come with me, and I'll get you a job. It's really good pay." Then he lures them into the forest, and then he tortures them, murders them, and kills them. And then he would go from city to city doing this. He wouldn't stay in the same place. And for like years. So they don't even know, like, it's like possible, like hundreds of people that he killed.
Damn.
It's nuts what
That's
these guys would
crazy.
get away with back then.
History for Foos, serial killers episode. So that guy I know, bro, because when serial killers is a subject that I've always read about. You know, when I would go to Barnes and Noble, I would go with Philip, bro. We just sit there and read books, huh? I would we get some coffee, bro. He'll get a bunch of magazine books we're not gonna buy.
Yeah, me and Bobby used to do that.
And then we just sit there, bro, streaming. And there was one that I read and I wish I knew about it. It was called the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers. And there was one guy there.
I have that, actually.
There's one guy there that's a serial killer. And a lot of the horror movies that you watch on television, like Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jason, they're all and fucking Silence of the Lamb. They're all based on this one guy.
Yeah.
Ed Gaines, right?
Ed Gain.
Because he's from a small town. He killed his brother, supposedly, right? He would dress up like his mom, huh?
Yes. And what he would do is he would kill women, and then he would skin them, and then he would preserve their skin. And so they found faces. They found different women that were missing around the area. They just found their faces and their bodies. And he would make suits out of their bodies, put on their fucking face, and walk around and pretend he was his mother because he missed his mom so much. His mom was everything to him.
Did him and his mom have sex?
I'm gonna assume
he never
that.
admitted though, huh?
It doesn't. They don't say it in the book, and they don't really talk about it on the documentaries. I watched a bunch of Ed Gain stuff yesterday because this guy was like, "Did you say Texas Chainsaw Massacre as
Yes.
well?" Yeah, this guy was what your worst nightmare was. It wasn't like there's lore about all these serial murders, and a lot of them just kill, they torture and stuff. This guy was making furniture. There's lampshades that they found with human skin on it.
I saw an ottoman that it had a bunch of nipples on it. They sold on them.
Yes. He had a
And
belt made out-
the lampshade was made of scrotums.
Yes. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, that I'm
He
sure
made
that's what it
he
was,
made
but-
these boots out of a man's scrotum, man. He didn't like wearing them too much in the rain because if you wear them in the rain, they got tighter.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was...
But like all that Sign of the Lamb, the guy sewing a body together, they got it from that guy.
Yeah, that's what the whole point of like Buffalo Bill was. And
But you know what one of his fixations was? That he used to like to put needles inside his groin, like his scrotum.
They found hella needles.
Hella needles, bro.
Like hundreds of needles in his fucking scrotum.
How many? He had a nipple
He had a
belt,
nipple
bro.
belt, yeah.
He used to squirt milk everywhere.
Yeah, dude. Ed Gain was, because tomorrow we're gonna do our favorites, or what? I don't know if you call them favorites or what.
Next week, bro.
I mean, yeah, next. But like the Ed Gein was a close second for me because of how fucked up he was. The only thing was he actually didn't kill that many people. because a lot of what he was doing was stealing body parts from
the graves, huh?
Yeah.
He was a grave digger.
So he was mostly stealing body parts from places. He only had like committed 3 murders or something. Can you tell me how many murders he had?
He took his mother out of the grave, bro. Right? And he dressed her up, right, Philip? So that's the psycho part about him. He when his mom died, he took her out of the thing and he put her back in the house.
That's crazy. He really took his mother's death really bad. The crazy part is he was trying to date. 2 murders. 7 suspected. 9 corpses mutilated. So he mutilated. This guy was digging up fucking dead people and making furniture out of them, and then wearing, like imagine. And that was the thing is that I think, imagine you wake up to this fucking person walking around in dead skin with a dead skin face mask. That's way more terrifying than anything. That's scarier than any fucking scary movie. I'm sorry. Just the whole place that the description of what they saw and the cops saw was disgusting.
It's sad, to think about everything he did, like that chair or that belt full of nipples. When you think about when you lose a loved one, his memory will live on. Yeah, on a belt.
Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine that you don't even know that someday your nipples are going to be on some homeboy's belt?
Your nipples could be a wristband, bro.
Dude, my nipples could be, my nipples could be fucking fire hydrants.
Hell yeah, bro, man. Your nipples could be a fucking a nightcap. You know what? I saw this movie about Richard Ramirez. Like a movie about him. It was based on the actual events, the actual murders, the actual catching. And when they caught him, I don't know if this was true or was part of Hollywood lore to have the actors say this line, but he said when they have him handcuffed and he looks at the guy that's playing Gil Carrillo in the movie.
Right.
And he goes, I'm bigger than the Hillside Stranglers, huh? Like bragging, bro.
That's what they want. Well, going back to not Ed Gein, the BTK killer. So the BTK killer would kill people every once in a great while. And at one point, someone decided to write a book about him. After they still hadn't caught him yet. And when he found out they were writing a book about him, he went out and killed again just so he could tell people, like, I'm still here. They didn't catch anybody. I'm that fucking guy. I'm the BTK killer.
I thought they wrote something wrong about him, and he came on and said, "That's me. I don't have a small penis."
No.
I don't have a bell on my penis.
They thought they had arrested somebody. They thought they had busted the guy at one time, and the BTK killer came out again, and he would submit evidence because he would collect trinkets from people.
That guy, bro, like he'll bring him to a home and tie up a guy and have him on all fours. And he'll put a teacup on top of his body,
right?
While he'll rape and abuse the wife, and tell him if the cups fall off your back, I'm gonna kill this bitch.
Jesus!
So you gotta be like this, and she's standing still with a teacup, and you gotta hear your loved one.
This is what the
assaulted.
BTK killer was doing to people. So he'd like get a wife and a husband,
or whoever's around, yeah,
and then put a teacup on the wife and be like,
no, teacup on the man.
And then if he moves. Oh, wow.
And then he eventually killed both of them.
Kill your wife.
And eventually killed both of them.
I just looked up Ed Gein's furniture that they confiscated. You want me to read some of it?
Yeah, read it, bro.
Whole human bones and fragments, a wastebasket made of human skin covering several chairs, skulls on his bedpost.
Why are you going so fast, bro? Slow down.
Oh, because there's a lot. A corset made of female.
What's a corset? That's the thing you tie up like this?
Yeah.
Made out of what?
Made out of skin from shoulders to waist. Leggings made from human leg skin. Masks made from skin of female heads.
See, bro, if somebody would have saw him as a little. I bet when he made his first talking, they probably slapped him and said, "You stop being gay." So he got mad, bro.
Probably.
They could have worked for Chanel.
He had things like 9 vulvas in one shoebox.
And what?
9 vulvas.
What's vulvas?
It's like part of a woman's vagina, I think.
Oh.
A young girl's dress and the vulvas of 2 females judged to have been about 15 years old. A belt made from female human nipples, 4 noses, a pair of lips on a window shade drawstring. A lampshade made from the skin of a human face. Can you imagine what it looked like when you turned that lamp on?
Find that lampshade.
Dude, fingernails and female fingers.
But these are all parts you do from dead people, right?
Those are all parts he took from dead people. Mostly
Still
parts.
nasty, bro.
Except for which I didn't read because it just didn't female skulls, some with the top sawn off the top of them.
You know,
bowls made from human skulls, and then Mary Hogan's face mask in a paper bag.
His victims, where did they find them? Did he
in his house.
That's funny, that type of serial killer, they buried him? Did he bury him, or I'm all over the house?
He parted them all out, and they were in different fragments of the house. So like check this one out. It kind of threw me off. Mary Hogan's face mask in a paper bag, but Mary Hogan's skull was found in a box. So he had separated her face from her skull, and that's the face he was walking around with, like pretending he was his mom.
You know, another serial killer I know about, and a lot about, because I read the book and I saw the movies, and I was a child, bro, when it was happening. I was probably 8 years old. It was like the Hillside Strangler. They were from Silver Lake.
Right.
These guys, they were
the Hillside Strangler was an L.A.
Yeah, they used to do they had the main guy. It was Ted DiBiase, and the other guy name was it's Ted DiBiase, and what else? Huh? Angelo Bruno Jr., bro. He was the older one, huh? Angelo Bruno, his son went to school with Armando Cosillo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they went to Marshall. And Ted DiBiase and Angelo Bruno Jr., bro, they were nephew and uncle. They were nephew and uncle.
Okay.
And they live here in Silver Lake.
Wow.
And they used to always share hookers together and party together. And he was an older uncle of him, but they were maybe he was 30 or 40, and he was young, bro. And they would go out on Hollywood Boulevard, bro, these neighborhoods. One of the first victims they picked up was on Hollywood and Vine. And they killed her, bro. And that fool, Ted DiBiase, or one of them, he dumped a body in Glendale at his ex-girlfriend's house.
Oh.
Yeah. And
to
fuck with her.
Fuck with her.
So she woke up and she saw a dead body. When I interviewed
damn, motherfuckers, that's past the horse head.
When I interviewed Gil Carrillo on a podcast, he said that victim I was talking about, when he found he went to high school with that girl.
Wow.
Yeah. And he killed a lot of people. He killed one of the people that he murdered, went to high school with Philip's mom.
Whoa.
Like if you ask Philip go ask his mom tonight, he'll come back tomorrow and tell her that, yeah.
So there's a statistic.
What?
From the book about how many paths, because the guy points out at the beginning of the book,
about Hillside Stranglers?
No, he just talks about how many times it's possible for you personally to meet a fucking serial murderer, and how greatly the possibilities are. And he points out all the people in history who had been seen on camera or TV hanging out with serial murderers. Like there's was the President Carter danced with that lady who killed all those old people in her house. Blondie, actually, you know the singer from Blondie?
Yeah.
She had to escape from a car with Ted Bundy. But the guy kind of broke down the statistics. 1 in 83 Americans is a legitimate psychopath. 1 in 83. That makes 3.8 million psychopaths. And I think it's something like number of 5% of those are serial murderers, which means that it's a very, very possible scenario that you've come across a serial murderer yourself.
The way these guys were murdering people, bro. I mean, it's funny how many you ran into a serial killer yourself, but that guy had Bruno. He had a fucking upholstery business. That's how they called them, because they were leaving upholstery fabrics on the women. So when they traced it back to the upholstery, it was from their fucking garage.
Wow.
So who everybody that they had been dealing with, everybody ran into. Everybody knew that guy.
Right.
So everybody ran into a serial killer in that neighborhood.
For sure.
So they would get a hook. They would sodomize a hooker that they found in Hollywood and Vine, and then like the younger, the smaller hillside strangler, which was Teddy Bianchi, he'll hold her feet, and the bigger guy Bruno will put like one of the hooks from the upholstery, and then smash her neck shut and kill her right there. And then they would just dump the body all over LA like nothing.
Oh my God, man! Wow.
So guess how they got caught?
How?
Once Ted DiBianchi, the younger one, he moved, or Sam Bruno, I don't know his name. He moved to Seattle, and the murder stopped because those guys only murdered when they were together. So they were no more murders, and the other guy didn't murder nobody in LA no more. But this guy did a sexual assault murder in Seattle.
Okay.
And he spilled the beans.
And that's how they got him.
And now he's a born again Christian.
Oh wow.
With a wife.
Wait, he's not in prison?
They're both in prison, yeah.
Okay, but he's married in prison.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Holy shit.
I remember as a kid the news saying, take your ass home at 10 o'clock. Don't go outside because there's a murder out there. Like warning everybody, take your ass home. And we used to go to Echo Park with my dad's best friend, Francisco, but we call him Panchito. And he was married to a woman, and we would play loteria with them, right? And then the lady would say, apúrate, vete a tu casa, que no te agarre el señor de las azoteas.
What does that mean?
Hurry up and go home before you get caught by the hillside strangler.
Oh,
jokingly
wow.
though.
Yeah.
Because hill, Echo Park has hills,
right,
and all the area where the murders were happening, the hills.
Right.
Echo Park, Glendale, Silver Lake.
Holy
so I remember having a nightmare, bro, about hillside strangler.
Wow.
And my coach telling me, Felipe, run! The hillside strangler. History for Foos.
And that's how they close in on the BTK killer.
Hell yeah. Before we go, I got to mention that there's also a documentary on HBO based on the Grim Sleeper, the serial killer in South Central. And at the end of the movie, on the credits, Tiffany Haddish's name is on that documentary. I didn't even know. I guess she was a technical advisor, and I guess she was a foster kid living in that neighborhood where the murders were happening. And the reason they never caught him for a long time was because he was killing a lot of black women and a lot of strawberries, a lot of prostitutes, and he was a trash man, so he got rid of the body all the time.
That's how he did it.
And he was all friendly with the cops all the time, like with the events, bro, cutting ribbons, donations, helping out.
Right.
So they never suspected him.
Shit. Instagram.
Felipe Esparza, my shows are here on the bottom if you can see them, or go to FelipeWorld.com. But also, man, look out for me. I'm going to places I've never been to. Like I'm coming to Boston. I'm coming to Connecticut. I'm coming to New York, and a lot of different states I've never been to, man. Like Lubbock, I already went there, but we'll see you soon. I love you guys, man. History for Foos.
See you guys next time.